What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Pattern Disruption Podcast and our segment this month, the DCA Challenge. If you are new to the show, this challenge is something that we're doing the entire month of August to make sure that we invest in one of the most successful stores of value that we've ever had in history. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting the show. The DCA Challenge is something that I also did in February. And in February, Bitcoin was at 90,000. So shout out to the gains that we made since. So if you were a part of that in February, then you were privy to some gains. If you bought a full Bitcoin, you made about $30,000 so far. If you've just been dollar cost averaging like what we've been doing, then you've been seeing gains. Everybody that's in Bitcoin right now is in the green. If you bought yesterday, you're not. So shout out to yesterday, man. We hit an all-time high yesterday. And I want to talk about that, but I also want to kind of do a recap of what we talked about yesterday. What I did was I talked a little bit about a few things I talked about. I just talked about how Bitcoin wasn't owned by anybody. And these were 10 different things that most people don't know about Bitcoin. So I wanted to make sure that people were well abreast on what they were getting into when they got involved with this asset. So let's just be honest. A lot of us are novices when it comes to this investing thing, but everybody was once a novice. So you got to look at it like that. Everybody had to learn. And let me make sure that you guys can hear me, because I did a whole show yesterday. And literally, I talked for 30 minutes. And people were trying to tell me, but I was so preoccupied. I was under the weather and everything. But let me make sure that I'm live. Yeah, I am live. I am live. There we go. But yeah, so welcome to the show. We're doing this every day. I think my sweet spot is 12 p.m. Eastern. So it's 11 here in Nashville, Tennessee. But I think my sweet spot is 12 p.m. So I may stick with that. So if you, some people at work right now, some people are doing whatever they're doing, but hopefully that you get into it. Hopefully you're dollar cost averaging. But I'm not going to be here long today. Normally what I do is I talk a little bit about whatever subject matter that is based on Bitcoin. And then if anybody's there, they want to ask questions about anything, want to share anything. If they want to come on the live, I'll bring them in the live. It don't matter to me, as long as we keeping it business, But again, welcome to the show. I appreciate y'all. The support has been overwhelming. And in some cases, if I base that off of somebody else's growth, then I might not say that. But based on me, coming from where I come from and being an introvert, it's overwhelming. So I appreciate all the support. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the all-time high yesterday. We had an all-time high in Bitcoin yesterday. So last year at this same time, Bitcoin was 58,000. Yesterday, we peaked at $125,400. And so if I chronicalized it, if I said that right, it would be the close of August 2024, we were at 58,000. That next month, at the close of September 2024, we were at 63,000. So we moved up about 5,000. And then October 2024, we were at 7,000. So we moved up about 7,000. And then November, so we had the halving last year. It happened last year. So after the halving, we usually have a major push. So from October to November, we went up $30,000 in a month. Yesterday, we went up about 4,000. We dropped about 8. It's a very volatile asset. So if you get involved in it, you can't use the money that you need to live off of. You have to have emotional intelligence. That's what I tell people. You got to have emotional intelligence. So by December, Christmas of last year, we closed the year at 93,000. So this is how it normally runs with Bitcoin. We probably will never go back to 58,000. Today we dropped about 8,000 from yesterday. And when you dollar cost averaging, that's great. And when you know where it's going, a lot of people, somebody told me yesterday, they said, they asked, did I have a full Bitcoin? And that's kind of like asking me how much is in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? You don't really ask people that. That's kind of weird. But one thing, I'm going to work every day, meaning I'm dollar cost averaging every day. So just know that I can support myself. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about telling how much we got invested and how much our gains are. But we closed 2024 at 93,000. And by January 2025 at the close, we were at 102,000. Well, yesterday we reached the all-time high of 125,000. So they say everybody's going to get in Bitcoin at the price they deserve. And what they mean by that is people are going to stay on the sidelines. They're going to deliberate. They're going to wait and see if they got some extra money. They're going to, but eventually you're going to have to get involved in it. And when you do, that will be the price you deserve. So if it's 250,000 by the time you get into it, you deserve that because you sat back and deliberated. I could have got in at 20,000, but guess what? I got in when I deserved at about 60, 70. But you're going to get in at some point. It's just a matter of where you're going to get in at. And that's another reason why I'm doing this every day, because I talked a little bit about inflation and hyperinflation, about the Zimbabwe dollar. I think I posted a short that I did. And I showed a Zimbabwean $100 trillion bill yesterday. And it's a real bill that they were using in Zimbabwe because the hyperinflation and the government was so out of whack that everything was so expensive because the money was weak. And if you pay attention, that's what's going on right now. It's at a lower scale, and we're America, so we kind of comfortable and we don't think it can happen to us. But pay attention. All the signs are there. So for us disruptors, we're going to disrupt the pattern of feeling comfortable and always feeling like it's going to be okay for us. We're going to make sure it's okay. So shout out to everybody that come on the show today. We're going to be deliberate and we're going to be proactive, and we're going to get out here in these streets and make it better. We're not going to wait for it to get better. My bad for eating an apple at work. But I appreciate y'all being here this morning. Again, let's talk about this all-time high. Let's talk about this all-time high that we just experienced. So I think my air conditioning just came on, and that's terrible because you can hear it. Turn the mic down. Y'all hear that? So the all-time high. Hang on, I gotta turn this off because it's getting on my nerves. All right, we back, y'all. We back. We are back. And I appreciate everybody coming to the show, man. Let me tell you, so we had an all-time high yesterday, 125,000. A lot of times we don't talk about this until it breaks like major milestones, like it reaches the 100,000th. When it reached 100, it was all over the news and everything. But when we make these small little gains every day, but people don't understand that those small gains are really like what gives you the edge. So if every day you do 50 push-ups and the other guy is 3 times a week, he's doing 30 push-ups. But you getting them 50 in, you just showing up every day. Well, no, he doing 100 push-ups, but he doing them every 3 days. Well, you're going to have an edge over him eventually. You know what I'm saying? So we always look for the quantum leap where we can just jump ahead in this one single leap. Nah, you can just keep going up the steps slowly. And that's what Bitcoin is doing, is walking up the steps right before your eyes. If it jumped another 100,000, you might wake up. You know how they say that, you put the frog on the stove. And as long as you turn it up real slow, he won't know he's cooking. Well, that's how this is. Like you don't know that you're being left behind when it comes to this asset, because it's happening slowly. But pay attention. It was 58,000 last year, 2024. And it just slowly walked up to 120, up a whole $70,000 in 12 months. So I don't know how much money people make, but I think the average income, they say, is about 40, 50,000. But in a year's time, if someone had invested money and we had a whole Bitcoin, they made your salary, or whoever's salary is 40, 50, Bitcoin made that in a year without doing anything, just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? It's called passive income. And this is really passive because I do some real estate and it's not passive. I got to deal with tenants. I got to deal with toilets. I got a sink right now that I got to send somebody over to fix. And this house is in another state. So, and shout out to my plumber contractor, Danny. I got to get with you, Danny. I know you don't see this show, but I got to get with you, bro. I need you over there to look at a sink for me. But yeah, so that's not passive. They call real estate passive, but you still got to manage it. Bitcoin, you don't even have to manage it. All you got to do, it does all the work for you. Now, does that mean I'm going to get out of all real estate? No. But what I am going to do is I got some moves I'm going to make. I'm going to keep that to myself. But yeah, so let's talk about this all-time high. First of all, why did we reach an all-time high yesterday? Well, for one, you got the optimism in the markets where they expect the Fed to cut the rates. And once they cut the rates, the interest rates, people tend to invest more. And then we got all this institutional demand, all these big. If you ever heard of BlackRock, look up BlackRock. BlackRock has bought billions of Bitcoin. At this point, that's their major investment. So when you invest in BlackRock, you are investing in a company that pretty much just owns Bitcoin. But the Bitcoin ETFs are getting a lot of money now that you can go to Vanguard or whoever you got your 401k through. You can go to them and talk to them about you getting a Bitcoin ETF. They probably already investing in it though. But then you got the policy tailwinds. You got Trump and what he's doing, and it's like it's all these crypto friendly reforms that's coming through. So that's one thing about compounding. Compounding. If you know about anything about compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And I always ask people, if you had a choice to get $2 million up front or a penny that doubled every day for 30 days, which one would you take? Now, I'm going to tell you like this. When I first heard this, I definitely said, you got to give me that. You better give me that 2 million. But once I understood compound interest and I understood that at the end of the day, math is really the most, they talk about time, but math is relentless as well. Math does not care what you think. If you keep spending more money than you're making, math will put you on the streets. Keep spending more money than you, math will make you homeless. Math can be an asset or a liability, but math is relentless. And with compound interest, that penny doubling every day will end up by the 31st day, that penny will equal five million and something odd dollars. So just because you didn't do the math, you lose $3 million in that deal because you're not paying attention to compounding. So if we did the math, that penny, you got that penny on day 1. Day 2, that's 2 pennies. Day 3, that's 3 pennies. Day 4, that's 8 pennies. Day 5, that's 16 pennies. Day 6, that's 32 pennies. Day 7, that's 64 pennies. And if you keep going, by the 31st day, it's 5 million. If you went 32 days, it's 10 million. So make sure that you respect math, bro. But that's another reason why Bitcoin is reaching an all-time high, because it's gaining momentum. So in the beginning, it had slow growth. So it took 16 years to get to 125 million. But it won't take that long to get to 125,000. But it won't take that long to get to 225,000. You see what I'm saying? It's got momentum and compound interest now. So that's another reason why Bitcoin is doing what it's doing. Yep, I think it'll easily be 150 by the end of the year. I always said 200. So you know what? I'm gonna get back aggressive. I'm going back for 200,000 by Christmas. 200,000 by Christmas, and you want to be involved in this, that's why we're here. Because today yesterday it was 125. Now I think it's down to 118. So guess what? Yesterday I bought at 123, 124. Today, because I'm dollar cost averaging, I'm buying at 118. That's the part about dollar cost averaging. Even if you got 100,000 and you want to buy a full Bitcoin, I would still tell you to dollar cost average into it. Don't take a whole 120,000 and just dump it in. Because just think, it dropped 8,000. You would have saved 8,000 based on when you bought it. If you bought it day before, if you bought it today, or if you bought it yesterday, you're saving $8,000. So pay attention to compound interest. I'm not gonna be here that long today. I ain't really getting a bunch of engagement today. But guess what? I'm about to buy some Bitcoin and I'm gonna get out y'all way. And I hope that y'all have a great day and be blessed and be prosperous. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, we about to buy some Bitcoin, y'all. Let's buy. So what are we buying at today? Oh, it's down to 117. So it dropped, like I say, it dropped 8,000 since yesterday. But we don't care what the numbers are. We don't care what the numbers are. Okay, there we go. Let's get it, y'all. DCA challenge. Every day this month. $25 for me. Whatever you want to invest, you invest it. Tell somebody. I know you may not know. You may not know exactly about Bitcoin and all that, but if you got any trust in my character, do your research, find out more about it, and by the next time that we meet, you should be able to tell me something that I don't know, because nobody knows everything about this. If they tell you they do, they're lying, because there's so many different components to it. Now you have analysts, you have developers, but they still can't tell you everything. They can't tell you exactly. If they could, then they could tell you what it's going to do. And nobody can tell you that, because it's an algorithm that Satoshi built in. So that was built into the protocol when it was built. And you don't know what it's going to do, because you don't know if the retail investors are getting in or they're getting out. If the institutional investors are getting in, how much they're pulling out, you never know. So when I say 200,000, I'm saying Bitcoin should be $500,000. But I understand the way it works. And so I'm being conservative when I say it'll be 200 by the end of the year. But whatever it's going to be, I want you to get a piece of it. But guess what you got to do? You got to get started. So shout out to y'all for the support. Shout out to y'all for the support. Keep supporting. I'm not asking for anything. This is all due to the service that I was led to give. I'm not asking y'all for nothing for showing up. And even if y'all don't support and don't show up, I still get to dollar cost average. And I get to help. So I can't lose in this. But you can if you don't invest. Let me let y'all know one more thing before I go, because I want to have some type of positive, motivating closing thoughts. And one of those, my closing thoughts would be, one of the reasons that Bentley and Rolls Royce, they don't do commercials. I know you probably heard, some of y'all heard this before, but they don't because their demographic does not sit in front of the TV all day. Their demographic is out in the streets, in the world, making deals, working out, vacationing. The last thing they're doing is sitting in front of a TV. So grab a book, get you some audio books if you can. When you're in your car, make that a university. Make that a school while you got that dead time that you can't do nothing with, but just drive. It's only one thing you can do is just sit there. Turn the radio off. That same song will probably not help you if you hear it, and if you don't hear it, it won't hurt you if you don't hear it. The 55th time. Use that time to learn something, grow, develop yourself, and make tomorrow better. That's what that's my goal. So what I want for you, I want for myself. So signing out, man. Just want to tell y'all tomorrow I'll be here at 12 as well. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. We're going to sign out. Shout out to you, Pattern Disruption Podcast, the DCA Challenge. We out of here.